Hey guys, welcome back to Salem, Cellar. So the Orphan First Kill was just released and I watched it right away on Paramount Plus yesterday and I want to discuss it with you. There's so many things to talk about, so I'm pretty pumped. Make sure you hit the like button if you are just as pumped. Make sure you're subscribed and I'll be right back. All right, so The Orphan was directed by William Brent Bell. He's given us movies like The Boy, Stay Alive. Remember that video game from, I think it was like 2005? It was like back in the early 2000s. I loved that movie. It is starring Isabel Fuhrman, Julia Stiles, Rossif Sutherland, who's actually also the son of Donald Sutherland and the half-brother of Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah, he plays the father in the film. I thought that was pretty cool. Love Kiefer Sutherland. Now, the beginning of the movie, she's in a psychiatric facility in Estonia. She plans this brilliant escape, and she then she impersonates a abducted or missing child named Esther. And that is how she gets into the United States. Yes, she goes to a nice family in Connecticut, and that's how they start off this movie. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion about the movie and what I thought really going into it. Now, this is obviously the prequel to the 2009 film, The Orphan. Now, when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, is this going to be the same movie again? Am I literally just going to be watching this movie with Julia Stiles as the mom? Is it going to just be Groundhog's Day? That's how I felt going into it. And boy, I was surprised. Okay, so it starts right off the bat. It's gory, it's bloody, it's a little brutal at times, and it was pretty good to begin. The kills were up there right even before she gets to the USA. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good time. Now, the acting across the board was I thought it was great. I really had no issues with that. My biggest issue, though, was, so the main actress who plays Esther, when she originally played Esther in 2009, I think she was around maybe 12 years old. I think now she's 25. I think there was a span of 13 years there. And she was clearly a child in the first film. Now, this film, she's clearly not a child anymore. She looks great, but she looks aged. She doesn't look 12 anymore. And there's a lot of scenes where you see her walking, walking out and holding an adult's hands or just anything where she's not front faced, towards the camera, and it's clearly a child. You can clearly tell it's a child, which is understandable because they have to pass off that, this grown woman is still the child from the first film. That kind of annoyed me at parts, but it wasn't anything to make or break this film. I was just kind of okay, I know that's not her, I know that's a kid, I know it's not the actress. But besides that, yeah, I was very surprised. I was very pleased with this film from start to finish. Now, you watch the first film and you're like, okay, you get that big twist at the end. How could they out-twist this movie? And I feel like they do. They give you another twist, which was nice. I like a good twist. And the fact that I did not see what comes towards the middle of the movie, I didn't see it coming. It was definitely whoa, okay, it was a shocker. So I want to go a little bit more into spoilers. So before I go into spoilers, I just want to say I did enjoy this movie. I do recommend it. It was a ride. It was effed up, to say the least. But if you liked the first one, which was effed up, you will like this one. All right. So I'm going to go into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the movie, pause this video, go watch it, and come back and, finish watching my video. All right. So you paused. You're right. Okay. All right. So now that they're out of the room, let's discuss this movie further. So after she escapes from the asylum, you see her looking at the computer. She's scrolling. She's looking at missing children, right? So she finds a little girl who looks a lot like her named Esther, who's from the U.S. Now it's a family in Connecticut that, missed their child went missing. So she chooses her. She then is kind of in a park or whatever. A cop, approaches her and she's just kind of probably I'm missing. I was kidnapped. I was, kidnapped for 4 years. So then you go, you know, you meet the family. They're at like some like fencing competition, and I think it's fencing. I might have the wrong sport. The son's, you know, involved, and it's like the mom, the dad, the son. And then they see the detective who's in charge of the case. Now, right away, Julia Stiles, I feel like she should have been like, did you find my daughter? Have you found my daughter's body? Like, you know, eager to speak to this detective. But right away, she's kind of like, what is he doing here? You know, almost like, why are you not happy that this guy's here? Okay, so we'll go back to that later. So that should have been a red flag right away, but I didn't really catch it. I was just kind of like, just, you know, enjoying what I was watching. And then, okay, so clearly they're saying, we found your daughter. She was kidnapped and she was in, I think, Russia for 4 years. And, you know, we're bringing her back home. So she goes, she gets Esther. And, you know, like, you could just tell, like the grown woman pretending to be Esther, she looks the part. If you look at the picture of the child that went missing, their kid, she looks a lot like her. So she comes here right away in the airport. The family is reunited. And even the brother, the son, or whatever you want to call him, he just kind of like, did he really want to hug his sister? Kind of was just like, you know, hey, like, your little sister gets kidnapped and she's gone for 4 years and you are not excited to see her. Another red flag right there. Okay. So the dad, I feel like, was the only one completely and honestly thrilled to see, you know, his daughter again. Everyone else was kind of weird. So, okay, so you guys know the twist. You've seen the movie. You know that they killed, or the brother by mistake accidentally kills Esther, and the mother hid it, and the father didn't know what was going on. Okay, so when that twist came, I was just like, how did I not see this? And that's why I started playing back, you know, the Julia Stiles like reaction when she first sees the detective, then the brother's reaction at the airport, and I'm just like, okay, now it makes total sense. And that scene where Esther comes with the detective and, you know, like stabs him, and like he says something like, you know, you're not going to tell my mom, and he's like, she already knows. I'm like, was the detective like on that, like knew the entire time that the mom was hiding the kid's body? Like, that was another thing that, you know, but when Julia Stiles shows up with the gun and shoots him, kills him, okay, that was something I definitely did not see coming. That was a twist. That was an awesome twist. Did you guys expect that at all? Like, let me know if you expected that, because I did not. I was like, holy crap, what is this? Now, the rest of the movie, I'm watching it, and I'm just like, who's the real villain? Is it Esther? Or is it the mom and the son? I really feel like the mom and the son, they were the real villains. Like, I know they didn't know that Esther, you know, that little girl, woman, whatever you want to call her, was like a killer, and they just thought she was a con artist, but they were pretty ruthless. Like, they did not care about anybody else but themselves. It was just kind of gross to watch. And a lot of times I was like, I don't really mind if Esther kills these people, except the dad. You know, the dad to me was kind of like the innocent party out of all of this. The rest of them, I just didn't care if anybody lived or not. But boy, okay, so I didn't expect that twist. The twist was awesome. I didn't think we were going to get another one. My only other issue with this movie was I feel like they jumped the gun. Now we see Esther. We now see how she gets to America. We see that whole process, or whatever you want to call it. But I think they could have went like a little further back. I think they could have discussed her home life maybe. Then there's another family that she hurts or kills, and that's why she's in the psychiatric facility. Why did they skip all of that? Why not show us that and then come back to this story? I think this was kind of like rushed a little bit, you know, and for a 13-year wait, I think it could have been a little bit better. I want to know more. I want to know about her. This is not the first kill. Like there was another first kill. So I want to know about the other first kill. I want to know about her home life before. Was she abused? Like, what went on there? Why was she living then with another family? Like, give us more. I just think this was kind of rushed a little bit, you know. This was a good movie and I did love it, and it did kick my butt, like that twist. But I think, what are you going to do? Like a first kill after this? Are you going to do a prequel to the prequel? You know, like, and then after that, we know that then she goes to the, the home for like I don't want to say if it's an orphanage or adoption agency, but like you skipped you could have had so much more. You could have given us so much more with this because there's so much more of a backstory. You know, we're seeing it starts off this movie, she's a 30-year-old woman. What happened the 30 years before? You know, there's like, she clearly fell in love with another husband or did something like that with another family. Why did you not go over that more? I don't understand. That to me would actually have been the first kill. That to me would have been a prequel. You know, this is like, it just kind of dropped the ball with that. But that was, besides like the, seeing the little girl walk off and it's not her anymore. And then them dropping the ball with like doing this prequel, and when they could have done like a real prequel, that kind of bothered me because I do want to know more of that story. And I don't think we're going to get it because we already got the prequel with this. Like, you guys handed us this over and called it First Kill. So we're not going to actually get a real First Kill movie. Like, I think we should have deserved as like Orphan fans, as horror fans. But either way, this movie is good. I enjoyed it from start to finish. I really have no complaints. Like, it was just, a lot of effed up things going on. Like, I took notes from this movie, like, so I made sure I didn't miss things. And one of my notes is like, fucked up. Like, I was just like, okay, I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that, because, I remember, but I thought it was funny that I actually wrote that. So if I had to rate this film out of 10, I would probably give it maybe like a 7.5. I want to give it an 8 because it wasn't a bad movie. I'm kind of annoyed that we didn't get more of a prequel. We got like the middle story and they called it a prequel. So like that is like a reason why I can't really give it an 8. I just want more. I just feel like that bolt was dropped, and I know I said it before, but it was just kind of like disappointing because I want a little bit more. But comment down below, let me know what you thought about it. If that didn't really bother you and you thought this was awesome, or you're like, oh, I still like the original better. I do like this one better. Yeah, if I would probably give the original like a 6.5, probably like maybe like a generous 7. But yeah, I would say this is a 7.5. It wasn't a bad film. It was gory. Like, the death scenes were brutal. You see Esther's teeth fall out, which was pretty gross. But overall, it was a good movie. I just wanted more of a prequel. If you're telling me a prequel, I want more. I want more character development. I want more of a backstory, not kind of just, now we know how she got to America, which is cool, because we had those holes in the original film. So thank you for filling those holes. But now I have more. I want more of a story. So yeah. So comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought about this movie. If you were, just like you loved it from start to finish. If you needed more, kind of like I did, like just what your feels are about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't hit that like button, make sure you hit it now. Make sure you're following me on social media and subscribed, and I'll be right back.